Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the review for the Samsung Galaxy J7, and this is affordable phablet by Samsung, and it sports a 5.5-inch screen which is a Super AMOLED screen, and the screen resolution is 720p, and this product sells in India exclusively via Flipkart for 15,000 rupees, and I'll have the link for Flipkart in the show notes. And overall, I would say the performance of this phone was very good. I was a little bit skeptical when I got this phone because this smartphone uses the new Exynos processor. That's the Exynos 7580, which is an octa-core chipset by Samsung. And so I was a little bit skeptical, but I have to say, now I have tested this phone for over 3 weeks, and now I got a software update. So it looks like Samsung is not ignoring this handset. We'll be getting some updates. For the most part, I would say in terms of the UI, it has that new Samsung UI and it was lag free. So that's a good thing. I was worried about the lag, but I have to say it is lag free, even though it has just 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. And let me give you a physical overview. On the top, actually, we have nothing, and we have an intent to open the back cover. I'll show you. This is the power button, and this is again looks like metallic, but this is again plastic. The entire body is actually plastic. Moving towards the bottom, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the micro USB slot that'll be used for charging, the main microphone, and on this end, we just have the volume rocker. And in terms of design, I would say it looks like a typical Samsung phone from the last generation, the plastic build. But moving to the front-facing camera, we have a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, earpiece, and the cellular call quality was very good. And you'll notice this, and this is not a LED notification light, but this is a LED flash. We don't have a physical LED notification light. And on the bottom, we have two touch-type capacitive buttons, but again, sadly, if you notice, these are not backlit. So Samsung is cutting some corners with this phone, and we have the home button, and we have that gesture. If you just double tap, it quickly opens the camera, and this is the front facing camera. Let me just move to the rear facing camera. And the good thing about the camera is that even the rear facing camera is actually really good. It's a 13 megapixel shooter with f1.9 lens, and we also have an LED flash. This is the opening for the speaker and the Samsung branding, and it says 4G Duos, and it's a 4G device. And as I told you, you can open the back, and this reveals the battery. The battery is user replaceable. It's a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and I have to say the battery life that I was getting on this device was excellent. I could easily get around 5.5 hours of screen on time with this device, and the standby time is nothing short of incredible. I was getting really good standby time, so I did some tests. Let me show you that a bit later, but here you can add your two SIM cards, one over here, one over here, and we can also add a micro SD card. So support for micro SD card is also there. And before we continue, let me give you a configuration overview. This Galaxy J7 is powered by the Exynos 7580 processor, which is an octa-core processor clocked at 1.5 GHz. Regarding the GPU, it has the Mali T720 GPU. It has 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Micro SD cards up to 128 gigabytes can be added. Moving towards the camera, the rear-facing camera is a 13 megapixel shooter with LED flash, and the front-facing camera is a 5 megapixel also with LED flash. Regarding the battery, it has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and it weighs 171 grams. So as you can see, it has some very good specs. Now, as I was talking about the battery life, as I mentioned, was very good. And let me actually show you the standby time I was getting. I was getting some incredible standby time, and I put my secondary SIM on it. That does not get a lot of usage, but I did want to test the standby time. And just notice this. It was off the charger for 12 days. It's not 12 hours, guys. It's 12 days, as you can see. 12 days. And yes, I didn't use the phone a lot because it was my secondary, but the standby time was incredible. One of the best that I've seen on any device. And in terms of, I would say, battery life, you shouldn't have a problem with this device. It could easily last between 5.5 hours to 6 hours of screen on time. And regarding the Android OS, again, we have the new TouchWiz UI, as I mentioned, and it is really fluid. It comes out of the box with the Android version 5.1.1. That is Android Lollipop. Also regarding internal storage, we have 16 gigabytes of internal storage as I mentioned, and you get about 12 gigabytes, and you can also add a micro SD card, and yes, it does support USB OTG. So in terms of storage, I would say it was fine. And as I already mentioned, in terms of the UI, this is the new Samsung UI that we get, and again, I did not notice any lagginess when I used this device. Another thing that I was worried was about the heating issues, but I'm happy to say that I did not notice any heating issues when using this device. Even I did some heavy gaming with this device. I played some heavy games like Asphalt 8, Modern Combat 5, Nova 3, and even with those games, I did not notice any heating issues or even lagging issues. So in terms of gaming also, the performance was very good. But one place I do not like this device is in terms of the sensors. We have just very basic sensors. For example, if you open even the Compass app, you'll notice that it will give an error that the compass sensor is not. So we just have very basic sensors. So Samsung skimped there. And as you can see, again, as I mentioned, we don't even have this. These are not backlit, and these also do not give me haptic feedback. It's not like the haptic feedback is not there. Even when you use this stock keyboard, this one, the keyboard is nice, roomy, but again, this also does not give haptic feedback. The haptic feedback engine is there, but it does not show up. I would suggest that instead of using this stock keyboard, install the Google keyboard, and that way you can get the haptic feedback. So it's silly for Samsung to skimp on the sensors, but overall, I would say the performance of this device was very good. Now, if we move to the camera, I would say the camera performance was also really nice. This is the camera interface that we see, and it is very familiar to the Galaxy S6, and the shutter speed is really good. As you can see, it's really fast, and it focuses also really fast. And the pictures that I got with this one was really good. And in terms of mode, we also have the Pro mode. So if you, but again, it's the basic. You can adjust the exposure, ISO, and the white balance in the Pro mode. I did all my testing in the auto mode, and as you can see from the sample shots, overall the picture quality is really good in the auto mode, but sometimes I do feel that it tends to overexpose in the auto mode. Even the front facing camera performance was actually really good, and I also took a video with the front facing camera. Here is the sample. Recording this video with the front facing camera of the Galaxy J7, and this is in completely artificial lighting in my office. I have just one tube light switched on, so this should give you an idea about the video recording with the front facing camera of the Galaxy J7 in completely artificial lighting conditions. So in terms of camera, I would say the camera performance is really good considering the price point. In this price range, I feel the camera performance was really good in outdoor conditions, but again, if we move in artificial and low lighting conditions, it is okay, but yes, there is a little bit of noise. Now let me actually break down this device between the pros and the cons. First, let's talk about the pros. As I've already mentioned, in terms of the performance, the phone performed actually very well, and I did not surprisingly notice any lagginess while using this device. Also, in terms of battery life, the battery life that I got was very good and incredible standby life. Also, the camera, as I mentioned, is good. It does have USB OTG support, and also in terms of gaming, the gaming performance was really good. And in terms of cellular call quality, the cellular call quality was also really good. Now let's move to the things that I did not like with this Galaxy J7. The first thing is in terms of grip. It hardly has any grip, so it is a slippery device, and it's a two-handed device because the device is a bit wide. Also, I do not like the fact that Samsung has skipped the basic sensors. For example, we don't even have auto brightness sensor, we don't have even haptic feedback, and basic sensors like compass, etc. So in terms of sensors, I would say Samsung has skipped a lot of sensors on this device. That's the same case even with the Galaxy J5. Also, another thing that I really do not like about this Galaxy J7 is the speaker output. The speaker output was actually a little bit low to my liking. So it's okay if you are in the same room, but I would say if you are in the other room, even the ringtone volume, even at max, was not that loud. Also, the camera, as I mentioned, was good, but in the auto mode, I feel sometimes it does tend to overexposed. So as you can see, overall the Samsung Galaxy J7 is a good device. I really like the fact that it has incredible battery life and the overall performance is also good. And in terms of the screen, it has a good Super AMOLED screen, but I hate the fact that Samsung is cutting corners by omitting even the basic sensors. Overall, I would say if you like Samsung devices, I feel for the performance, the Samsung Galaxy J7 is a good device, but I just don't like the fact that Samsung is skipping a lot of sensors which other vendors are actually providing even in lower priced handsets. I've also posted the dedicated gaming review with this Galaxy J7, so you can check out that for more info. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video.